for this site. It barely meets ADA accessibility standards. We have unreliable power and communications in this building, and we have very limited office space. Again, that's a different shot from about 1941. That's the headquarters out front. I mean, yeah, well, this was the residence. Things were done a little differently then on National Wildlife Refuges. We put the residence out front and the headquarters in back. So apparently that kind of said visitors weren't, yeah, that you can tell the difference in how things are going. We want to have visitors. We want to show people our public lands. This is not how we want to do it. But yes, that's the headquarters in the back. It was also okay to re-landscape this whole area, kind of cutting off a native stream for tidal flow, which has now been restored, and there are salmon entering back into this flow. But they cut that off, created a pond. It was one of those goose sites for a long time, where we did some things with Western Canada geese. It was okay to build septic tanks right here, close to the stream and close to the bay. It was okay to dam and build that water, dam up that stream for our own water supply in that area. We didn't even know we were having an impact on nesting marbled murrelets in these forests because we didn't even know marbled murrelets nested in trees until 1974. So today we think we should be doing a little bit better job. So we have a vision. Our vision is to create a natural resource center that provides exceptional value to this region. We would like a new location near Sandridge Road to make the refuge more accessible to the community and its visitors. When we have a management plan that was done in 2011. There's an economic analysis that was done along with that. The numbers that were projected talked about increasing visitation up to 200,000 per year, as well as having an economic impact to the community of 2.2 million annually. Our vision is to promote education for all ages, provide unique nature and art and history exhibits, provide large spaces for meetings like this and beyond, different events, things like that, provide a nature play area, and provide space for the Friends of Willapa National Wildlife Refuge as well. Our vision is also to provide spectacular views of the places that you all love about Willapa, things that and love about Willapa Bay. Accessible trails, again, for all ages and all abilities. Connection to our state and national park systems is also important to us, so we're all connected in different ways through bicycle and pedestrian trails, hopefully. Outdoor recreation to provide, promote health and wellness for our communities as well. And have a resource-efficient building that meets LEED certification. Where would that be? So just to kind of orient you, we are sitting right about here in the Cranberry Museum and Pioneer Road. Here's Sandridge Road, and here is the refuge is outlined in this kind of maroon color. So that's part of, this is what we call our Tarlet unit. And the site that we identified in our management plan in 2011 and the economic impact statement that went along with that was right there, right off of 95th Road. There's the PUD right there. We have been working with our partners since 2011 as well, and have been trying to improve our access to this area. So last year we finished a project with the Pacific County with some state RCO kind of funding that came along to improve the access to the South Bay Trail that brings you out to Willapa Bay right here. So that project is now complete. You have safe parking and turnaround areas there and a new kiosk that orients folks. We have also worked with our partners of Pacific County and the City of Long Beach and the Port of Ilwaco and the Port of Peninsula on this project. This is a federal highways, what they call a Federal Lands Access Improvement Grant. So this is a potential route for a pedestrian and biking trail connecting the Discovery Trail to the Refuge's South Bay Trail to connect the ocean to the beach, to the bay, ocean to the bay. That will be coming online in a little bit later. 2019 is when this project is supposed to officially get started. And then we did 2 other projects with Federal Highways, with Pacific County, and this is a road improvement project. So we'll be improving the 67th place, which is affectionately known as the dump road, that leads to our Ricola unit. So that will be improving that. And, sorry, I forgot all these that were in there. So there's a new parking area down at Ricola, and then there's the road repair, the projects. Something else, we've had a working group that's been working on the new Refuge Center. We all know that tsunami evacuation is very, very important to our community. All of the sites in this color are potential areas where you don't want to be if there's a tsunami, and then the darker areas are where you'd like to go. Those are the higher grounds. And then if you'll notice 67th place, which is the dump road, is also an evacuation route. So talking with our partners again, could this potentially be a location for our Natural Resource Center instead of over at Tarlet? That's kind of the question we're looking at right now. Can it be? It's already an impacted site. We've been using material from this, and we had to clear this site as part of a restoration. So we wouldn't have to clear any new areas. There'd be less impact. Our shops are already located at this site, so we'd be consolidating refuge resources if we were to choose this site. And again, it's at the end of an evacuation route, and it's above the tsunami elevation. So it's a good place for federal dollar investment in the long term for buildings where you're not in the tsunami zone. Could we help with evacuation planning and become an assembly area? That's one of the things we've been talking about with our partners as well. It also provides a really awesome view of Willapa Bay. So a new site with a new, really attractive site with a great view could be very good for visitor access. So our next steps are basically site assessment at Ricola. Is this going to be a good spot? Can we build there? Can we get water there? Can we get septic there? Those kind of questions. We've also been trying to have some more stakeholder input. So we've had 3 different meetings, or 2 different, we've actually had 3 meetings, but our third with our contractor is going to be on June 14th. The second one was earlier this week in this room. So on June 14th, there's another one from 5 to 7 p.m. here. And then we'll be working with our contractor to do some sort of a design for the building. And that's part of what those stakeholder meetings are about, is what do we think works best for our site and our area. They'll also be putting together a cost analysis. And if that all works, then we'll be presenting that back out and asking for public comment. And then funding for construction is usually a question that I get. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. We'll do funding for construction if that is something that comes in the Fish and Wildlife Services budget. So become engaged. Join us at the meetings if you're interested. Love to hear from you. And that is all I have.
So our next speaker is Martha Williams. Thank you, Martha. Our next speaker is Martha Williams, who is the co-director of the Friends of the Wildlife Refuge 4th grade program for environmental education. She has taken some special training on environmental literacy, and she's going to talk about kids and climate change.
I am. And I could say things like they saved the best to last, but you know, I don't think that's totally true. But what I want to say is thank you all for staying. And I'm going to take you on a child journey, if that's all right. It's going to be much more simple and not as involved as some of the science we've seen, but maybe that's an okay thing. So, how kids can change the world. I want you to access your inner child, and I want you to picture the hydrologic cycle, which we call in elementary school the, say it?
Rain.
Water cycle. Okay, so what I've learned through the water cycle in 2nd and 3rd grade is what goes up must come down. What goes up goes round and round. And listening to the diatoms and the microinvertebrates and the macroinvertebrates and the fish and the birds and the local and the regional has just inspired me even more, because now you're going to not only access your inner child, you're going to become a global citizen. So I was trained in March in Denver, Colorado with the Climate Reality Project. You too, at the end of this presentation, may be trained in Bellevue. I think I'm a retired educator, an elementary educator, and in this district for the better part of 28 years and 12 years down in Los Angeles. So my audience is usually on the floor. They're usually shorter than me, and they usually don't listen all the time. So this is a really alien experience for me, but thank you so much. I am Martha Williams, and I'm thanking Laura Tucker, who I absconded, I stole. I took her PowerPoint. She's a 4th grade environmental educator up in the Seattle area, and I tweaked it with some of my own stuff. Let's see if I can get this thing to work. While I'm your last presentation, you are my first adult presentation, so you might remember that. So I dedicated this for those of you left in the room who know my Williams family. You'll see Joe in there. I know. Yep, I see a smile back there from Guy Glenn. All right. You'll see his children, and one of them is my biological also. You'll see Lonnie in there. You'll see Kristen in there. You'll see Kimberly in there, and my son Jordan. Oh, I guess I could do this. How do you do the little thing? Oh, that one. Okay, so there's Joe, there's my biological Jordan, there's Lonnie's step, there's Christian, and there's Kimberly. These are grandchildren, so who cares, right? Well, we all care. We all care about kids, and most of us, well, we were all a kid, but we have kids, we have grandkids, we have nieces, we have nephews, we have people that we love. So this is dedicated to 1/2 of my family. All right, I won't belabor the natural greenhouse effect, all right? We do know it's a good thing. If we didn't have those greenhouse gases that came back into Earth and heated us, we would be at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. We now average about 59 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a good thing. Oh, and the slides are a little more spiffy because they're for kids, all right? So, and let's see if it goes by itself or if I have to activate. Oh. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's just right. And that's the fairy tale, isn't it? Well, unfortunately, the rest of my story is not a fairy tale. We have had climate change, and patterns are changing rapidly, and they're increasing in what you're doing, not only in speed, but in rate. And this carbon dioxide, this methane, this nitrous oxide, which I believe is fertilizers, and the aerosols that were banned in the 70s that affected the ozone layer, they are now obviously changing when they're come down from the solar energy, and they're not being allowed to escape because there's the blanket that's being formed because of the excess of this being emitted into the air. And so our planet is warming. Biggest sources of greenhouse gases. All right, I want a little participation here. So, what do you think on that slide is the greatest source of greenhouse gases? Just blurt it out.
Flying crew for us.
Transportation.
California.
All right, now cars and planes and buses. Transportation is now the #1 source, biggest source. What do you think is second or third? Blurt it out. Agriculture is the third up there. Obviously we have the coal just to extract things, to transport it, and then to burn it. Obviously the coal and the oil and all of those energies have increased it. And how did they start noticing? Because of the Industrial Revolution. Okay, from then on, in the 1850s, 1880s, it's been a rapid increase. And the hottest year was, when do you think the hottest year was? Last year. And the hottest year before that?
The year before.
The year, well, Kathleen. And what was the one before that? Yeah, and so we've had consecutively, and obviously we're not done with 2017, but you know what? It might just have a pattern there. And that's what got me into this. It's just like, I've lived a life here, I've seen things change with the clamming season. I was very interested in that, because I know I used to clam from October to May. And now what? 11 days one year, 94 days the next year. All right, so we have added to it. It's always been going on. Carbon dioxide, of course, has always been. Yay, it works. There's 136 years. Now, at the end of this, okay, watch the dates at the bottom, global warming. This is the change in average temperatures. It's up into the 80s. Okay, that doesn't mean that the Arctic is the hottest place on the planet. It means that their average temperatures have increased the most. Hence, polar bears, kids are all into all of that. That's why we want to talk to them about this. Also, you'll see that little shelf down there, the western shelf, is almost at a point of no return. And who's going to haul the icebergs? I just read that. They're going to haul the icebergs, you know, thousands of miles from, you know, Norway so that they can cool the ocean. I mean, that's a plan. I don't know if that's going to work. In 20 years, Arctic ice. I just went to Alaska this last fall. I had no comparison to the glaciers, but they showed me the comparison of the glaciers. So get up there. They're gone. And this is in California in 1 year, the ice pack. Okay, so we have snow. We have great snowpacks. We have great snowpacks in our Cascades. But what seems to be happening is they're melting earlier. Hence, farmers can't get water for irrigation. We can't get water into our reservoirs. I know I'm preaching to the choir and most of this, but thank you. All right, so what goes up stays up for a while, and then it's going to fall down. This is called a rainbow. You know, it's like special effects. I'm thinking, okay, like Photoshop. No, these are real things. So they're happening all around the world. Flooding, of course, more condensation, water. Kids know that. Water evaporates when it's hot. They know Texas. Texas is a very huge state. It could have covered me, go, ooh, when I show them that slide. Obviously, it fell in one area, so it went up to the second floor. Now, with kids, sometimes this is cool stuff. But for us, it's climate reality. All right, well, if it evaporates from the water sources, it evaporates from the soil. So it's not just a tree hugger environmentalist output, or input, or love, or desire, because it affects the economy. These people have farmland. If it's a drought like this, they cannot plant food. Therefore, it affects what you eat, it affects disease, it affects health, it affects economy, it affects jobs. So, just like the web of life we were looking at with all of these local and regional, this is affecting life around the world. We're very lucky. We are not water scarce, but 40% of the population of the world is. You go on water.org and see what's going on in Africa. It's amazing. This is actually Washington in 2014. All right, another outcome of climate change is that because of the droughts, because of increase of lightning strikes, heat, the only things that like global warming are bugs like the pine beetle in Colorado, so they nibble on it, and then there's just stalks of trees that are dead. Lightning hits it and it erupts. We're having, I forget, my data is never just all out there because I'm not a climate scientist, but an amazing, I think our window of wildfires is 105 days longer than it used to be. I think that's what I heard. Who can read that? I'm glad I'm here. It's danger, opportunity, all right? That's kind of the motto of climate reality. When there's a danger, which there's dangerous things occurring with storms and with floods and with droughts and with health, etc. So where there's danger, there's opportunity. When there's uncertainty, there comes creativity. And that's why the young people. Okay, so there's reasons for hope, and that's always a good thing, particularly to tell children. on an international level. India, and you'll find in all the research that India and China are going great guns on changing to more new and renewable and green and sustainable energy. Why do you think they are so much smarter than we are? Anybody want to know?
More desperate.
More desperate, yeah. There's a billion of them.
More desperate, I hear? Yeah, and probably the biggest desperation is they're dying from climate change, from pollution, from all the effects that come with the drought and the food and the illness just from heat stress and the lack of water. So they have to do it. They have to do it. We can sit in La La Land and not have to do it, but because we're global, because things do affect us in the web of life, and what goes up comes down and all around. So I wanted to start learning this lesson because I want to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. Some really cool things. Thank you, scientists. Enough solar energy reaches Earth every hour to fill all the world's energy needs for a full year. So I'm saying to myself, so why have we been drilling into Mother Earth? Why have we been polluting Mother Earth when we have a source of energy that could give us light and heat? Well, yeah, front loading is heavy, right? When we need storage, and we don't have enough sun. We're going to have to go across grid lines, state grid lines. We're going to have to change. We're going to have to look around us. We're going to have to change our perspective. We are so smart, we can do this. Oh, I'm not a scientist, so I get really emotional. In England, you've heard reduce, reuse, and recycle. Well, this is repurposing, reusing a tin mine in England, two of their largest solar farms. Pretty cool. And I know you can all read, but it's true. You know, if he can do it, I can do it. You know, we want to challenge ourselves. We want to make sure that we're out there accessing all of the resources that we have. And our children are certainly, certainly big resources. What's that, 5 years? There are cities and towns around the United States that have pledged to be 100% renewable by 2020, by 2030. Yes, I am going to talk to our city council. Yes, I'm going to go a lot of places to have friendly conversations because we're all in this for the same reason. We want to survive. We want sustainable economies, and we want our beautiful planet. So I cannot imagine how it's not a win-win situation. There's our little children planting trees, and there is a program that will be at the end of this. It's called Plant for the Planet. Vive la France. I've not been there. But look how cute that wind tree is. Nobody would mind if that was in your yard. They wouldn't call and have it removed, and there's the guy that did it. I saw this on the news. Did any of you see this on the news? I actually did see it when that came on. I'm watching too much TV. Ah, yes, Ferrier. All right, so the 2015 Paris Agreement to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions. Even if we stay below 2 degrees centigrade, we're still going to affect 12 million people on the coast because that warming is still going to raise our coastal. We are on the coast. That does concern me. Manhattan is on the coast. That really concerns them. Florida. Big economies have big input into this, have big impact if we do. National level. U.S. clean energy jobs outnumber fossil fuel by a bit. Outnumber oil and coal jobs 5 to 1. And I'm sorry about the slide, I accessed it, it didn't come out. But wind turbine technician is the fastest growing job in the United States. So I give a little career awareness to kids. Maybe you guys want to change jobs, all right? And being a teacher, I had to include this slide. In Georgia, Ledbetter says by 2014, solar will save the district enough money to cut teacher furloughs. If you've been in this district long enough, you know, and I know for sure, that we have teacher furloughs. In other words, they were not going to pay us to teach 180 days. They were going to have us teach 180 days, but only pay us for 178 days. Well, that would set a precedent if I'm going to work for nothing, right? So we cut our school year back 2 days because teachers were not going to work for free. That was, just not setting a good precedent. Well, this area said, okay, we've made enough money, we're going to buy a day back. Now, most kids at this time of the year would say, we don't want to go any longer to school. It's okay if it's shorter, but we know that's not a particularly good thing. Another project in our California. And what's happening that's allowing this to happen is capacity is going up, interest is going up in solar and wind, and the cost is going down markedly. It's becoming a pivotal situation where people can really get involved. I am looking into wind energy. It's going to cost me up to $1,100 to do the net metering. How come my son in Fort Collins, Colorado could go on wind energy for $263 total extra? So that inequity is not something I really appreciate, nor should you, so I'm going to look into that. State level. Pacific Northwest holds the line against coal export terminals. Proposed coal export terminals, 8 in Washington, 6 in Oregon, now 0. All right, so is coal coming back? I'm going to tell you. Portland is generating power from their drinking water. Yay. Technology. And Seattle's Bullitt Center is the greenest. This was 2013, so there might be another one, but yay for us. Washington is so fabulous. They are leading in a lot of ways. They are definitely coming along with so many good technologies. Port Townsend, Climate Action Committee. I'd like to be on that. I'm just going to let this go. Why? Because this means we work together. Look at the diverse groups of people that are working together in our state, in the city of Port Townsend. And I heard a few things here today, some little edgy stuff, just a little, about economy, or this end of the habitat or environment and this end of the habitat. And I get that. I get we have a hard time agreeing on what we all need. But guess what? We do need to come together, and nobody's going to get everything they want. But if we have a common goal of saving the planet and keeping people employed, easy breezy, win situation. What can you do? Look at the United States per capita CO2 emissions. Look at Africa, Middle East, European, okay. And probably you already know this, but when I see it in a graph, I go, oh, there's the world in a box. And we have 5% of that population. Fossil fuels, gas, natural gas, coal. How much of it do you think we use? Out of 100%. This is 210, 160. What do you think?
30.
All right, I heard 30. Good guess. 25%. That's still a lot for 5% of the population of the world. And we kind of know that. So China and India are going to beat us on solar and renewable because they're dying. They had to. They have to pick themselves up. They have to do something different. They can't do all the networking grids that we have. So they leapfrog into other technologies. We're ingrained in doing our heating and our lighting and our cars a certain way because we've done it that way for 100 years. But they haven't. So they're going to be smarter faster because they're going to do what we can do right now. They're going to do it. Oh, I hope this plays. Oh, it does. Wait a minute. How do I stop that? Stop. I need to have the audio on this. Do you know how to do the audio? Anybody? Because this is such a good thing. Where's my man? I was going to ask him about that. Anyway, this is how the children are going to save the world. And I'm going to stop talking because Felix is going to start talking on the video if we can get it going. Oh, okay. Should I try pushing the button again?
I kind of froze it, Jackie. Do I need to unfreeze it?
Try it now, it's a high pop.
Please listen, this is kind of the gist.
Thank you that you give us children the chance to share our thoughts with you. It's not common, but children think it should be common.
This is a true story.
I was in 4th grade, 9 years old, and in our class we had the unit about the climate crisis. And during this unit I learned a lot about Wangari Maathai, the Peace Nobel Prize laureate from Kenya, and she planted 30 million trees in 30 years with many, many other women there.